Howdy YouTube, Uncle Joe here, Uncle Joe's Playhouse. Today, I had planned to do a video on one of my favorite PBX systems. And in doing some research and getting ready for it, I found out that it has changed. The system I'm talking about is called PBX in a Flash. And what PBX in a Flash was a distro of free PBX that had been tweaked and modified and secured and kept open source. The people at Free PBX, I guess it's run by Sangoma now. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but basically it's open closed source software. It's real sketchy about how they do their software at Free PBX, and we'll be doing a review on that as well. But what the folks at PBX and a Flash had done, namely Ward Mundy, ran the site, is they took Free PBX and they modified it and took all the open source stuff and added a bunch of whiz-bang stuff to it and made sure it was very secure. Well, they've stopped doing that now, and so now what they've done is they've partnered with a company called 3CX, and 3CX is an excellent VoIP system, but I'm always going for the free stuff or inexpensive stuff, especially for my clients, because they're small businesses and they really can't afford a lot of expensive software. And it's not even so much the price of the software, it's the price you have to pay every year for the software. So I'm going to show you what I've done, what I've installed, and show you some of the features of it. This is not a tutorial video in any way, shape, or form, but I'll explain to you how I've got my 3CX set up, how I set it up, and what your options are, and then we'll go over some of the features. Now, what I like about 3CX is I'm a Windows guy, you know that, and it's Windows based. It'll run on Windows 7, 8, 10, Server 2012, Server 2008, Server 2016. It'll run on any Windows-based system. But they also have a Linux version of it and a VMware version of it. So it'll run on just about any kind of hardware or virtualization you have. I have chosen to virtualize it in a Windows environment because that's what I'm familiar with. And mainly the reason I do that is because I want to be able to get into the file system and go find files. And, Linux, if you don't have webmin installed alongside Linux, it's a little tricky to get around in there, and I'm not a big fan of the command line. But enough of me talking. So let's go and look at PBX in a Flash. If you go to their website, it's right up here, pbxinaflash.com, and you'll see they have now switched over to 3CX, the free version. So first thing we want to do is let's go to 3CX and let's compare. Now, you can get a free version, a free license. I don't know how long this license is good for, but you can come here and fill it out, or if you download directly from 3CX, they will send you a license as well as part of the registration process. So let's just go over the features they've got. If you go here to 3cx.com phone-system/edition-comparison/ if you want to go there with me, you can see the difference between the free and the standard version. The big one is you can have 8 simultaneous calls. You can only have one SIP trunk at a time, but that's not a big deal. But you get pretty much everything you need to run a basic phone system. So if you're a small business, these are some of the features you don't get. They're not a real big deal. The call queuing, call parking, call reporting. If they are important to you, you can go up to the standard version, and you can get more features that way. You'll see it's unlimited extensions. When I used 3CX last a few years ago, they limited the number of extensions you could have as well. And even though I had played with it and gotten it up and running, I never was fond of that limitation. So I'll just scroll down and let you read those as I scroll down slowly. One thing they say that it doesn't have is conferencing, but it does have conferencing, but it's kind of convoluted how that works. And you can see as you go further, it's a pretty well equipped phone system. It does have. I'm going to cover some of the pros and cons of it here, as we're looking down at this chart. I'll just go slowly so y'all can read it. So it's free for 8 concurrent calls. You have unlimited extensions. It runs on Windows or Linux. It's got a very nice dashboard. We'll cover that here in a minute. It has a very nice piece of client software that I'm going to show you as well, that allows you to run a soft phone in addition to a desk phone. I have some really old phones here. I have a 57i Astra. I have a 9133 Astra over on my workbench. I have a couple of Grandstream Budgetone phones. All of them work with this. Let's see. It has an endpoint manager, so you can actually take care of the all the programming of the phones from a nice little web interface. Let's see here. It's got built-in backup and restore. It's got a built-in firewall, setting screen, etc. Some of the things I don't like about it are it doesn't look. If you've ever used free PBX or any derivation of that, or Asterisk, you know it's feature rich. I mean, Asterisk has a lot of great features in it that are real handy, and a lot of tweaking you can do on conferencing and call queues and that kind of thing. This one has limited capabilities, but if you're a small business and you just need a reliable phone system, this ought to be just fine for you. So here's the view of the dashboard. So what I did was I installed this. I created a Windows Server 2012 virtual machine, and then I installed 3CX on it. It's very simple install. It takes you through. It has a wizard that takes you through the setup of the basic system. However, let's go over here to SIP trunks real quick. And out of the box, 3CX has SIP providers that they support. My SIP provider was not one of them. I like voip.ms. I've been using them about 5 years. My clients use them. They're really great. They're out of Canada, but they're like a penny per minute plus $4 a month, I think, for a DID line. So it's very cost effective. I think I pay $25 about every 3 months for my phone system, and I can have 2 simultaneous calls. And no, I don't mind if you see my telephone number on there. That's my business phone number. But they have a list of providers, preferred providers they use. And if you don't use their preferred providers, you're kind of on your own. Fortunately, VoIP-MS has information on how to set it up with 3CX. So let's go over the dashboard here. The first thing you see is our system status, disk usage, memory, CPU usage. You'll see that we have, at a glance, we can see what our trunks are up, how many extension, number of calls in use, blacklisted IPs. You can click on the event log, call history, chat logs. You can turn on automatic backups, your firewall check. We'll discuss this in a minute. That's not a big deal that this test failed. I still haven't figured out why that's failing. I've done everything they've said to do. I have that carryout control firewall, and I have set it up per their instructions, and still I get a failure. So I'm going to put a call into my firewall provider to find out what that is. Now, 3CX does something very unique. They give you an identifier. They give you a fully qualified domain name. So mine is MCSTX. That's my domain name at 3cx.us. And then here's my static IP. Your web meeting fully qualified domain name, your license, your maintenance, simultaneous calls, simultaneous meeting participants, outbound, how many outbound rules you have, etc. The beauty of this is I can click on any of these. So if I click on trunks, it'll take me to my my SIP trunks. I can go out here and view my extensions by clicking on there, the passwords, who they belong to, what their email is, how many phones they have. I can see how many simultaneous active calls are in use, any blacklisted IT. IP addresses. I can go to my event log and see, I can see my registrations, etc. at a glance. So it's a very clean interface. I really, really like this interface. I have my call history to what calls I made incoming and outgoing, my chat logs, automatic backups, firewall check, etc. So that's a dashboard. The other thing it has, you can connect down here as well. So if I were to come over here to phones, you can see it not only has my extension numbers, but it has the model number of phone. So I have an Astra 57i, an Astra 9133i, and a Grandstream GXP 1100. It tells you my firmware version, the name of the phone, or who it belongs to, the phone password, my PIN numbers for my voicemail. Don't worry, all of these will be changed, and you can't get into them anyway. And then at a glance, I can see my extensions as well. Okay, you can set up groups here, contacts, your SIP trunks. So here's my inbound rules. I just created a generic rule for any incoming call. I have it ring during business hours. I have it ring a ring group 800, which is all phones, and then outside of the office hours, I just have it go directly to my extension here. Outbound rules, very simple. I have one for local calls, so anytime you dial a 7-digit number, it will append 1 and the area code, because your VoIP provider wants a 10-digit number, or 11-digit number, 10-digit number. And then I have one for outside of my local area code, so it'll just prepend the 1 to it. So if I called an 830 or a 914 area code, it would take care of that for me for my outbound rules. Digital receptionist I haven't set up yet. Here's my ring groups. So I just set it up to all phones, and you have a couple of choices here. You can ring all, or you can ring them in a daisy chain fashion, which is prioritized hunting, is what they call that. And then you can add the extensions you want it to ring. You can add a DID number, and then you can have a destination it'll go to if there's no answer on any of the phones. Call queues, you got bridges, fax extensions. Faxing is not built into this. It is built into the next version up. If you have any FXS ports on here, it'll tell you. Recordings, so you can do your own recordings in there. Backup and restore, which I did a backup already. It worked like a charm. Your call logs, your call reports, and then your settings pages. So you can come up here and modify your 3CX client, your blacklisted number, call parking. You see that even though it says there is no call parking in the free version, that there is an area for call parking if you use such a thing. Conferencing. So I set up an audio conference. I don't know exactly how this works. I haven't quite figured it out yet. I got it to work. I just set up one conference with the conference telephone number 700, and it works. I tested it yesterday. However, if you're used to free PBX or Asterisk, on the conferencing you have ways to go out and tell it, hey, announce the person's name, or don't announce the person's name when they enter and exit a conference. It has a ton more features. This is a pretty limited feature set. Basically, it's just a conference, and it requires you to, when you call into the conference, it asks you for your name, your PIN number, then it announces you when you go in the conference, and a lot of my customers like to just knock that shit out. They don't want to use it. So it's kind of limited on its feature set for conferencing. It has CRM integration. It has a bunch of different CRMs it integrates with. So if you come down here, you got Office 365, Outlook, you've got Tappy, Office 365, the full thing, Salesforce, Dynamics, Exchange, Sugar CRM, Google Contacts, and it goes on and on and on. There's quite a few. But you notice you don't get those features unless you go to the, what version is that? The Pro version of the software. You can set your own dial codes. You can change them. So on free PBX it's star 79 or star 78, and for voicemail. So you can set those codes the same if you're used to free PBX. Set up your email here. So I set up my email. You're going to need to set that up. If you had a fax server, you could have it dial in. It'll become your fax server, and then you could have it forward that to an email address. My license. Here's the music on hold, so you can. Looks like you can have up to 9 music files online. Let's see the network settings, your FQDN, your ports, and then your firewall. Very basic firewall, by the way. Let's see, we've got time zone, office hours, etc. Parameters. So if you wanted to modify or delete any of these parameters, you could go out there and tweak it. Let's see, the PBX, allow forwarding X number. Okay, I haven't gone over these, but you can see it's got quite a bit of features on here. Security. Okay, you can use secure SIP. You're allowed country codes. You can set up your 3CX tunnel, etc. System prompts can be edited. They have templates for the Astra phones. They have also a template for a Cisco phone, so you can actually go in there and I don't know if you can edit your template, but you can go in there and view them. And then of course your voicemail, 999, and go back to the dashboard. Let me show you on my extensions. For example, use my work desk. So it's very simple. You just go out there and you set up your extension. It'll generate a secure password for you. You can enable the web client, click to call, click to meet, and you have your voicemail set up here, your PIN number, whether you want to read the date and time, email notifications, and it'll also send it to email. You can have your forwarding rules, your phone provisioning if your phone is supported by 3CX. All of that can be set here, including your codecs, your busy lamp fields, any other options, restrictions, rights, and then your integration. Come back to the dashboard. Okay, 3CX also comes with a client for Windows and Macs. I don't believe they make this client available for Linux, but I could be wrong. But basically, this is like having a soft phone in addition to a hard phone on your desk. So I have a hard line on my desk, so if I pick up the receiver and make a call, you'll see that it responds on the client as well. I'm just making a call over to my work desk right now, or I could just dial right from here. I could initiate a call right here by calling the extension. Same thing, and then I pick up the phone on mine, and it's ringing that line right now. Very simple, kind of intuitive to use. It was kind of weird. The reason I said you have to set up your email on 3CX is because the only way to configure this that I've found is to get a invitation email. You get a link in that email, and then it sets up your 3CX client for you automatically, downloads it, installs it, and then gets it all set up for you. So you can see right here I've got a voicemail. This also tells me I'm also connected to my desktop phone. I can change my status to available, away, do not disturb, lunch, etc. Also tells me I have a voicemail. I can bring up a keypad on that or get rid of it. Down here I've got my presence information, my contact list, my call history, voicemails if I want to get into them. It has a nice little chat feature, so you can chat with other people in the office. You can start a 3CX web meeting. You could open and create conferences. You can move it to switchboard mode, which looks like this. And you have a couple of different options on the switchboard. So if I make a call, I'm just going to make a call to my cell phone. You can see the outgoing information. I'm going to answer it, and hopefully we won't get a bunch of feedback. So you can see that I have the ability to transfer, conference, drop, or I could even record the conversation. You can't record it on the free version. If I come down here, I can send up email. So this is the receptionist view, but I could also have the manager view right here. I don't know how much difference that makes. And then you have the user view. So if you have a receptionist who monitors your phones, you could use that as well. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hang up that call. Go back to my home screen here. So yeah, and then you have a full list of options here. If you click on this little button, you can add contacts, go to user view, queue manager view, configure your account, set your audio options, themes, re-register, request to welcome, email, and then you got some help down here as well. So this little client is a nice little addition to 3CX, and it can be useful. If you're familiar with the flash operator panel on free PBX or Asterisk, you'll know that this gives you a similar but not an exactly the same kind of experience. So let's talk about pricing, because most of my customers are going to need the features of the standard version of 3CX because they need some of the whiz-bang stuff. So let's go look at the pricing. So we're looking at the standard version for 4 simultaneous calls. It's $149 a month. It's a pretty reasonable cost. The Pro version $189, the Enterprise $298. As you go up in the simultaneous number of calls, etc. But you'll see up here the annual licenses are valid for 12 months, after which a renewal is required at the same rate. So you're going to be paying this per year, every year. Not a big deal. That is a very reasonable price for a small office. If you can't afford $300 a year, even for the Enterprise, for 4 simultaneous calls, you probably shouldn't be in business. I probably shouldn't have said that, but I mean, that's, the pricing is good. Now, as you go up in the call volume for 8 simultaneous calls, it kind of doubles in price, as you can see here. Fairly doubles in price. Now, here's the catch. It's telling you here, pricing is based on the number of simultaneous calls a company needs. Usually 1 simultaneous call per 3 to 4 extensions is required. So a company with 50 extensions would need 16 simultaneous call licenses. So you'll have to do a little math here. So taking that into account, a standard license would run you $700 a year, or less than $70 a month. So a really good price. It's a very competitive price. I don't know how 3CX support is, because I've had no experience with them, with their support. But what I would do is buy it from a partner, because the partner is going to give you typically really, you want to buy it that. You can buy it online yourself, try to set it up yourself, but I provide a managed solution to my customers, and so what I would do is I would just charge them whatever I would pay for my partner price, and then I charge them a monthly fee to maintain everything, and then I would be their point of support. It's very easy to get registered as a partner and to take the courses, etc. So there you go, my little dog and pony show on the 3CX phone system. I have it up and running. I've got all my extensions set up to it. You saw that. And it works well. I haven't had any trouble with call quality or dropped calls or anything like that. It took me a couple of days to get this set up and wrap my head around how to do the SIP provider and how to do the phones. And because my phones are not directly supported, they are, but they aren't. It was as much trouble to go out and get them to auto provision as it was to just provision them manually. So if you don't have more than about 10 phones in your organization, you're probably going to want to go to each phone and provision it manually, because it takes, like I said, just as much time to set up the endpoint manager to provision those phones, and you still have to physically touch each phone and tell it where to get its provisioning file. So I just found out it was easier to manually go into each one of my phones. I have a DHCP reservation set for all my phones, so they get the same IP every time, and it makes it real easy to get in and to get them set up. My overall impression of 3CX, I've always liked this phone system. I thought it was pretty stable, and I like that it's Windows based. It also runs on Linux. In fact, if you do the PBX in a Flash version of that, it is actually comes bundled with, let's see here, it should tell us. Debian Linux is what it uses. And like I say, if you go to PBX in a Flash, if you want to try this yourself, you can download it directly from 3CX, or you can try to install the Debian version of 3CX. How long their license is going to be free? They reserve the right to change that at any time and to rescind that license. So keep it in mind if you're running your small business or even your home. This would be great for a home phone system because most of the time you don't need the whiz-bangy features. I like a little bit more control over my phone systems. Will this be something I sell to my clients? I doubt it. Will it be something I use the free version for? I doubt it. And why is that? Because I'm just not, it doesn't have the features that I know my customers need, all the features my customers need. And if I can get the same kind of software for free or a lower cost, I'm going to do it. And just deal with the fact that it has to install under Linux. It's no big deal. Because once you get these things set up, they typically run for years without any major problems. I like that 3CX is supporting the community and putting a free version out there. But let's face it, what was there before this, which was PBX in a Flash, was a true open source program. But I think what happened was it just got too hard to maintain that software and the repositories for it. That's why they've switched over to something different. So I'm also going to be doing some videos on free PBX and install on that. I'm going to be doing one on Careo Operator, because Careo, who makes my firewall, you know how much I love that, they make a VoIP phone system. I'm also going to be doing one on Incredible PBX. So Incredible PBX is also a Ward Monday project, and it's just basically a bundled free PBX asterisk system with a bunch of add-ons, and it's a really secure system. So I'm going to be doing a review on that as well. So I hope you found this video entertaining and informative as always. If you have any comments, leave them down below. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it, or a thumbs down if you didn't. Either way, we can take the criticism. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the other side.